families today are struggling with that, the support and it not really being there, as well as, like today's, economy is just a mess, so being able to have those tools at their fingertips and being able to really find them yourself as a parent. There are more strategies out there. I mean, for you, that's a very a much bigger piece, that I hope that somebody is able to step up and just really, fill that part. But exactly, like we as a society get to step up and really help each other to find more support in those areas, which is what we're doing here.
I mean,
And
and that's like I'm so excited for the membership because it's at an affordable price point to where and then now you have access to a great amount of experts where you can pick our brains and you can show up and find that support, find community amongst other members of the community to be like, "Hey, I can relate to you on that." Or, I
yes,
look up to my parents that have older children now and I'm like, "What did you do when you sized out of diapers?" Like like what did you do at this next step? Or, when families have to transition and, there's a lot of even, for waiting lists, right? Waiting lists for ADHD assessments or
oh,
autism assessments. Like the wait lists are astronomical and, you don't know who you trust or you have the long wait list and then you still don't get like great answers and it can just feel so isolating in
mm,
something that like it can be life changing, right? And it's all an adjustment and that's why I think I was so desperate to create and build out a system that was simple enough to implement no matter how burnt out I was. Because when you're burnt out, and that's why I think I was so desperate to create and build out a system that was want to optimize the things that you're doing and you want to be able to find support systems. So whether it's this community, whether it's, people in your town community.
around you, yeah.
I recently joined our Kiwanis Club, not too far from us. And because again, that was something that I felt not that I needed another obligation to go to, and I don't go to every meeting, and that's okay, but it was just another community that understood what I was going through and understood, and had advocacy stuff behind them, right? And so they were able to really support me in areas that I needed, and it's just a really great community to be a part of, and but that was how I found community support as well.
So let me ask you on that actually too. Whenever it does come to finding that support, this is a two-part question, so forewarning. What are your suggestions when it comes to finding support like near somebody? And then of course, we have this community online, which we are here for it. We're here for it all. And you
I'm
can
sorry.
message us personally. We are here for you, but also, you brought up a point of just these different strategies you've already shared. What would be like three things that you would say would be like really good nuggets for families to really get started on those?
I would say so I'm gonna try and remember your first question before I jump into our second question. In turn, I this is going to be a fully biased opinion, but I really feel therapy is really, really helpful. So whether it's therapy or individual coaching, I find that is just another safe space that's not your partner if you have one, or multiple. Again, everyone is welcomed here, and so if it's partners or friends, like sometimes we don't want to talk about really intimate personal stuff, or maybe you're not always on the same page as the people in your life. And so just having that outside unbiased opinion to just, validate what you're going through and give you some of those strategies to try can be really helpful. And then also I'm in a ton of local Facebook groups as well. I'm also in New Jersey, so if anyone, from New Jersey is part of our membership, say, "Hey," you know? It's a great place. We're fast-paced. But, so I've posted in a couple of those groups. I also formed one specific to Central Jersey. There's a debate on if Central Jersey even exists, but, for Central Jersey for special needs because I didn't want to go to the tippy top of our state or all the way down south to the bottom of our state, to have a play date, right? Or, to go to a support group of any sort. And so, not saying, if you're not finding that support, create it, but if you have the spoons to do that, like, feel free. But post in some of your local groups and say, "Hey, I'm just looking for a couple local parents, for play dates, or just, to have coffee without while our kids are in school," or, um being okay with being the person to put that out there, because I'm constantly seeing, comments on a lot of those groups that say, "I'm in this area and, I would love to connect. I'm interested." Or, if you have a hobby, I've seen people do like book clubs, or I've seen people do different things. Like, I'm interested in it's nice out. I would love to start walking at the waterfront, and so many people comment and say that they're interested. So we always need one person to take the first step, and then, other people follow. And so, being okay with, you don't even have to really be the one that organizes it, or, you ask for help in organizing that if you get overwhelmed with the amount of interest. And maybe you even include that in the post, like, I'm not really capable, or I'm not really at the point in my life where I can organize this by myself, but I would love to find other people who are interested in the same thing. Business networking events can be really helpful too, and really fun, because it helps you tap into those other sides of who you are. Or maybe you work for corporate, but maybe you're looking, maybe you don't even have to look for another job, but you're just wanting to be around other people, and it's not centered around conversations related to your kids. And so looking for some of those. Unfortunately, Facebook right now is probably one of the best places to still find those communities. It's a great starting point, at least. And then you can, you even connect with one or two, and then from there you can, say, "Oh, what other groups are you a part of? I would love to hear more." Um, and then our second question.
So yeah, it's just
Three
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 quick
nuggets.
3 quick nuggets to really get someone started on those SOS, yeah, strategies.
You're gonna hear me say this probably every time you ask this question, but self-compassion and grace are going to be like your number one. Put
Mm.
those boxing gloves down, and stop beating ourselves up over things that we either don't have control over, or, the things that we're, like, stop shitting ourselves, right? And um really, because it's not gonna get us far at all, or it's gonna get us further into, a deep dark hole that it would take even more effort to climb out of. And, so I think that's first and foremost, is being kind to yourself, and because you're creating awareness around that too, right? I think that might be another nugget, as well as, how can you increase more awareness of some of those habits, some of those. Did I realize how much I was running up and down the stairs? No, but I was repeatedly tired of, like, sweating again by 7 and I had just showered, right? Like, it was one of those. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, how can I do this differently?" Right? And again, it was just because I was able to take a moment, zoom out, take a breather, and be like, "Okay, hold on." And maybe you have to come at it with curiosity, right? I think we create non-judgmental awareness, and, through curiosity, and being able to say, like, "Okay, what can I do? What am I doing that, like, I keep stumbling every time, or that I'm constantly late, or, I'm constantly overbooking myself? Like, what about my system?" Because lack of systems are still systems. And so, it's okay, what are these habits that I have on a daily basis? Maybe I'm guilty of scrolling my phone for way too long at night, and, so I've made that a habit of to really put it down. And again, I know it sounds silly, or it's something that's constantly recommended, but I don't realize how much it really does steal your time, when I could be doing something differently, right? And I could relax still, because that's usually what my go-to is. I just want to sit and relax for 5 minutes, but it's never really 5 minutes. And so, being able to find other things that help us decompress, help us, just pause for a moment, and, desensitize for a minute. And then the last one is just, reminding yourself that this is just a moment, and, things will will pass, like, these emotions pass. And, again, so awareness, compassion, and, just pausing, right? pausing and
Love
taking.
that. I love it. Well, Lena, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and, being able to be with us today. And for those of you that are listening in on either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, just know that you can come in and join us live because we are getting ready to move into our Q&A session and you get to ask those questions live. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And thank you, Lena.
Thank
And
you.
he's signing off of our live recordings.